That better?
It's fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you? Sorry about that. I was running a little bit late. I've got like 1,000 messages going on, but
No worries, no worries. How are
but
you doing?
good, man. How are you? Let's do
I'm,
it. What we got?
yeah, it's been like 1.5 years since we last spoke.
Yes.
Yeah,
A lot's going on, man. You probably see my LinkedIn. Everything's moving
yeah.
fast, and I'm in New York next week, so pretty exciting
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
How was the Bitcoin summit?
It's very good. You want to talk about Bitcoin in the interview, I guess, too, as
Yeah,
well?
sure. Yeah,
All
sure.
right. We can
Please
talk
go
about
ahead.
that.
Yeah.
Big was robotics. All right. Do you want to get started? Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Start it
Let's
up.
start it. Yeah. So, how was the Bitcoin summit? Please tell me about that.
Oh man, went to the Bitcoin conference this
Hmm.
year in Las Vegas, Nevada. Listen, I've been to all of them, and this was the most well attended, most exciting one that I've ever been to. And of course, Las Vegas, how bad can it be, right? But
Hmm.
the interesting there thing was that there were some themes that came out of this, right? It
Okay.
was very political as a way. We saw the Vice President J.D. Vance in the United States talk about, look, there's AI, there's robotics, there's
Yeah.
quantum computing. It's not just Bitcoin and crypto.
Hmm.
There's a whole level of the next level of technology. And if you're
Right.
not making things in Web3, and if you're not doing those things, you're behind, right? And
Yeah.
when I look at the future and I go, okay, I got to think about it as an investor. I got to think about it as a CEO of a company. Am I going to be doing manufacturing, or am I going to be building things in software that the world needs in order to move forward? Right.
Right.
Think about like AI. We want better answers to better questions. We don't want to
Hmm.
go back to the old way of doing things. And we saw a lot of that. And I'll tell you, it makes a lot of people a lot happier when you look at the Goldman Sachs of the world, J.V. Morgans, the Citibanks, those major companies, those banking companies that are now saying, "Hey, you know what? We're going to start accepting Bitcoin." And this morning we saw where they're talking about now accepting crypto as for loans as an
So,
asset.
JP Morgan is now accepting crypto?
Yeah, what's up with that, right?
That
You
is
can put it
great.
into, I mean, ETFs
Hmm.
and in your
Hmm.
401ks and your
Hmm.
IRAs. People who did not know how to
Hmm.
custodial, right? The
Hmm.
custodian for Bitcoin in your accounts, they'll know do that for you now, right?
Hmm.
That's a next level. That's where Main Street now has reached Wall Street on the fringes and have come together now. I mean, I this is exciting things for the crypto world for digital assets. I had a nice chat with Peter Schiff while I was there as well, and he said, "Look, you guys are all sitting on a high right now because you have a president that loves it, you have Congress that loves
Yeah.
it, and is
Yeah.
accepting of it, and Main
Hmm.
Street." But I said, no, I agree with you, Peter, but look around. It was very busy. Place was very packed, and Main Street is now accepting it. We're no longer in the fringes. We're not the crazy ones anymore. We're now
Right. Right.
right there with
Right.
it.
Right. So, JD was there. So, how's that? And Trump is also very big on. And I don't know if you've been like seeing the X recently, Twitter, but Elon and Trump, they both are having a bit of a trouble with each
Look,
other.
I get
Yeah.
it. Look, they're friends. He went to almost everything with it was like a bromance. The
Yeah.
two of them went to every event together for the first, almost 200 days in this administration, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they went to every internationally, Air Force One all over the place together. But you know what? Sometimes lovers quarrel. They say things that they don't necessarily mean right now. Look, I get it.
Hmm.
Elon does not agree with the bill, the big beautiful bill that Trump called it. Trump
Yeah.
loves the bill going into Congress, wants to get it passed.
Hmm.
He is the president. Elon Musk is not the president. So,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
I know they both have their own social medias, Truth Social and
Hmm.
X.com or Twitter. But when you look at their thought processes about how the country should be run, they're not disagreeing with each other. I
No,
think they're
no.
just
Yeah.
disagreeing with
That is this.
how they
Yeah.
move
That's the same
forward,
thing.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, they're di disagreeing like what steps to take, but the destination is like the same for both of them.
Yeah, cut the deficit, cut
Yeah.
spending, cut. Yeah, they both agree with that, but
Mm.
how they get there, they might not always agree on that. And I don't want to see the two of them spat in public. Look, they're two huge figures. One's a president, and one's the richest guy in the world. Do you really want those two
Yeah.
guys sparring with each other? Not really. It's not good
No.
for anybody,
No.
the country, or
Never.
themselves. So yeah.
Never. I mean, Elon can go back to Canada if he does that.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what's interesting? I just
Yeah.
had Anthony Scaramucci Mooch on my show a
Hmm.
couple days ago, and I asked that question. Look, and look, they're both saying the same thing. They all want what's best for the United States of America, right? They
Yeah.
don't. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to hurt the country, and they all want to do big things, right? They all have big ideas and how to fix it, and they
Hmm.
didn't like the previous administration, and they want to move forward. So okay, but sometimes even the closest of friends, even family members,
Yeah.
spat, right?
Yeah, they
So
fight.
let
They
them
fight.
spat,
Hmm.
but we just don't need to see it in public. That's what I'm saying. Let's let them do the
Right. Right.
behind scenes. Don't get excited about things.
Hmm.
Move on. I mean, you've
Yeah.
got a man who's building lots of like technology, and you've got a guy who literally is running the biggest country in the world. So
Hmm.
they need to come together.
Yeah. Okay. So we decided to talk about prop tech particularly, and we had a bit of a Bitcoin talk here because always that's exciting. So about prop tech, what are you most excited in the prop tech space about? What is the most
Yeah,
exciting thing you feel?
I will tell you when
Hmm.
I'm asked about the Bitcoin conference, what did you take away from that?
Hmm.
What is something that you didn't expect to see that really surprised you? And I spent some time with them, is robotics. I think
Hmm.
robotics is the next level of what we're looking at. Humanoids, how it helps. It doesn't necessarily have to be one that cleans the house and does the dishes and
Yeah.
mows your
Yeah.
yard. It has to be something that makes us a better human. How does it make us easier? And if we think about the acceptance of it, we how many people have a in their house, or how many people have Google in their house everywhere, right? We all know that
Right.
we're already accepting it. And the next level of that is wearables, right? Your watch and your
Yeah.
glasses and all that. How do I infuse AI? How do I infuse quantum computing into this and crypto in this and microtransactions and all this whole new ecosystem of a world? We're seeing that now, right? So when you look at the technology, the new prop tech and the fintech side of things, one thing I said to them is like in the company with Real Robotics, if you go check them out. They're a Canadian company,
Hmm.
great company, Real Robotics,
Real robotics.
REALRO, yeah,
I think I've
TX.
heard of them. Yeah, I think I've
Yeah,
heard
and
of
you know
them.
what? I
Yeah.
had a long chat with their with on the CEO there,
Hmm.
and he's building some cool things. But when I asked about the finance side, well, we don't really have that. Great, guess what? I can see that happening, right? We can see where Quasar Markets and these companies come together and say, look, we can help you with all those little things you may be missing, data points you may be missing. Because in the
Yeah.
AI space right now, it's literally just scraping the web. And scraping the web doesn't always work because now the machine is being trained on things that may or may not be true. It may be some
Yeah.
website that doesn't
Yeah.
really, it's not normal, or it's on the
Hmm.
fringes, or
Yeah.
it's not accepted that this is the truth.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you've got hallucinations, and it's not even the LLM's fault, right? So we
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
see that real databases going into real AI and the real answers to real questions. So I'm really excited about the robotic side of things because I think a lot of people just want an answer and don't want to be hit with 5 billion ads, right? They
Yeah.
want an answer, but they want an answer to a question they didn't even know it existed, and they
Hmm.
want an answer to the question, but get a better answer than they even expected to answer. So I
Right.
think the next level of all of this is how we interact with that, not just with the humanoid robot, but how we interact with the answer. Oh, that's a great answer. I didn't
Yeah.
expect that. I asked a sports question, but got an
Hmm.
answer about finance. How did that happen? Well,
Yeah.
because they're intertwined, right? And so when I see that, that's how I want to see prop tech
Hmm.
working in a little bit different way of how do I manage that because I want an easier way of seeing things. I don't want to always have my head in my phone all day long.
Yeah.
And I think that Apple and Google are working on new ways of trying to
Mm.
create how we interact. If we think about it, the old days of a phone was like this in our head, right? We have a cancer cluster coming out of the side
Yeah.
of our head.
Yeah.
Then it went to little phones, and then it went to
Mm.
smartphones where our head went down. How we interacted with that social media, how we interacted with that media in general has changed over time, and
Yeah.
how we interact. Maybe now we don't have to take pictures where our phones are like this and we're having to look this and do the thing and
Yeah.
the selfie thing. It may just
Hmm.
be where we look out our glasses, take a picture, or it takes a picture of us,
Yeah.
or we look down at our watch. The Dick Tracy world of the 1960s are no longer. We can actually talk and listen on our phone now, and
Yeah.
watch
Yeah. Yeah.
movies on our phone. How we do that and how we interact with that was also going to be changing, and I think that's going to be changing maybe the fastest as Apple now reveals Apple's on WWDC coming up, their new iOS and how their new hardware may be changing. And you saw where Johnny Ives, who used to be the head of a data product, a product for Apple,
Yeah,
is
he's
now
with
his
Sam
own
Altman.
company.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Johnny Ive, a new
Mm-hmm.
company, right? He's going to be working with Sam Altman. Did you see what I
Mm-hmm.
said?
Mm-hmm.
AI now with wearables is now coming together, and it
Yeah.
could be a major interaction
Yeah. Yeah.
internally. Yeah.
I mean, do you know there's this comedian Theo Von?
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, so Theo One is a comedian, and if you ever want to laugh and you're having a bad day, just see Theo One with the Trump. So he does like a podcast with every major political people and everyone, but he takes out the real character out of them. So he was talking about cocaine with
Okay.
Trump. Yeah. So actually, on Theo One, he hosted Mark Zuckerberg on his podcast, and Mark was talking about this. What he was saying. So you mentioned that ad about ads, people don't want to see 5 billion ads. They just want to get to the point they want to get to. And if people want to see ads, because obviously everyone wants to buy something now and then, people want some services, some products, and some ads may be beneficial for them. So
And
what
I'm okay
Ma
with that. I just don't want
yeah,
to be my ads shoved in my face 24 hours a day.
yeah.
It's not going to work, and people are going to turn that off eventually, right? So we
Hmm.
have to, as hardware and software developers, we have to figure out what is the balance of people being able to do that. If they're going to wear the glasses, are they going to get an ad? They walk down the street, they
Hmm.
see the McDonald's, they see a Nike shoes, and it keeps coming in their face. They're going to turn that off, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Or they're going to see an ad that what tracks them. Okay, I'll look for that, but then they're off of it, right?
Yeah.
Want to be on that ad 24/7. So
Hmm.
how do we do that? And I think that's also the prop tech things. I really liked
Yeah, obviously.
this
So,
discussion.
let me just tell you about this. So, it's a cool story. So, I'm with the real estate company as of now, and I'm the CMO for them. And what we're doing is we are involved a lot into tech. So, currently, we're also hiring a CDO. We have some
Mm.
developers. We are developing some things. So, everything is going great. But as a CMO, I was designing some marketing campaigns for the company. And we had this chat that in this all like AI social media world, should we go and do offline marketing? Do some banners out there, do some posters out there, do some billboards out there. So Mark Zuckerberg on Tier One, he was telling that maybe in coming future, what we can do is when everyone will be wearing like Meta glasses or any kind of glass, what we can do is we can just make the banner like a green screen or something, and based on people's interests, they'll see the ad which they're interested in on the billboard. So it's not distracting at
I
all.
mean,
It's the
I can
same
see the
thing.
ads in the glasses so that they're face
Yeah.
forward. So if you're walking down the street, people can see your glasses, but they're going to see an ad. Quasar markets are across my glasses. They're just going to
Yeah.
see it. It's going to be,
Right.
but it's not going to. It's going to be more subtle than that, right? Or
Right.
you're watching now sports players with patches on their shoulders. It's not. It's subtle, right? I see the name of the
Mhm.
company. I know the company that sponsors this sports organization, whatever it is. In
Mhm.
St. Louis Cardinals, I'm a Cardinal fan. I see Stiefel on their shirt. The Yankees have theirs, or soccer
Yeah.
players. I've already had football players have theirs on theirs too as well. And that's gonna be a little more subtle as we have wearables, and I agree with that, right? But
Mhm.
yes, one of the things that when I had the chat with the robotics CEO was he said, look, there was a Harvard study about the number one problem in the world, and that is companionship, right? We are
Mhm.
not, as people, we are very social creatures. We like having
Right.
these interactions, right? We like
Mhm.
this, but we're not seeing that because there's too many people's doom scrolling and they're looking at silly
Yeah.
ads and
Mhm.
people doing silly things to get attention,
Mhm.
right? That's great for 2020 during COVID. Not so great in 2025
2025.
when we
Yeah.
have to do something different, right? TikTok, I get it, you're still popular, but people are kind of tired of it, right? They're kind of, oh my God, I can't believe, did you read this? Did you see this stock quote? They're
Mhm.
tired of that. They want to be told, they want to understand what they're seeing and being told, and then they want to do it quickly. And yes, it's okay to advertise, and I agree with that. I mean, I should advertise, right? Because
Yeah.
that's how business is done. But don't do it in a way that just shoves stuff down your throat. I hate
Yeah.
that, right? And people don't like it either. So yeah.
Right, right. So, like with all the tech coming in, so many people have this debate that are jobs going and extinct and all that. Like some jobs are like already, I think, extinct. Like many jobs are extinct, and I think Mark was also talking about this that at Meta, and they are like the 30% or like 20% of the engineers are cut down because the software is so good. They need like
IBM just let
so much work.
IBM just
So
let 800 people go who were in HR and accounting. They don't need it,
yeah,
right?
right.
AI's look, I said this 3 years ago. Learn AI. Learn to be in the prompt world. If you do not learn AI, your
Hmm.
job is literally in jeopardy. Look, if you're a
Right.
firefighter, your job's not in jeopardy. But if you're a coder, if you're a developer, your job's in
Yeah.
jeopardy because coding is
Right.
already happening, right?
Right.
And
Right. Right.
the management of that is what's going to need to be more managed, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
going to need to have a flow of how development happens. You need it. There's going to be new. We're already working on new the code. If you're using JavaScript and React, and
Hmm.
Web, if you say Web 3 and you're not using Web 3,
Hmm.
it's going to be the next level, right? You
Yeah.
don't want to continue to live in the past. We don't do C sharp and C++ anymore, right?
Anymore.
It's a
Yeah.
whole different level, right?
Yeah.
So, but that was cutting edge back when I started,
Hmm.
right? That was very cutting edge, and it's not cutting edge anymore. And
Hmm.
now coding is done by the AI. I ask the machine to AI code me something, and it codes and spits it out for me, right?
Yeah, so people talk about this that the next coding language is English, and people should do two things. They should learn English. They should have their vocabulary
Yes.
in the right space, and they should learn how to prompt. They should learn how to prompt.
Prompt,
If anyone can just learn
prompt.
how to
Yep.
prompt Chat GPT correctly, they can get like 90% of the things done. They can get
Yes,
like
because
90%
when
of the
you
things
learn to
done.
prompt and you learn to ask the better question,
Yeah.
the machine will tell you, okay, yeah, it's a great question, but I want a better question. And it'll raise your
Mm,
standard of who you are as a person and your
right,
understanding of a situation, right? That's what's
right.
cool. And that'll raise our level of education. I mean, when I was going to school, like, oh, the teacher told me, do not have a calculator on your desk because you'll don't need a calculator. You need to learn how to do it because you'll
Mm,
never have a calculator wherever you go. Today, that's silly. I mean, we have a
yeah,
calculator. It's the least thing on our smartphone, right? I
yeah.
have AI on my phone. Back, starting Google search was on everything. Google search not so
Hmm.
much anymore, right? It's all about ChatGPT or
Yes,
Anthropic or
ChatGPT. And
Perplexity. I
like
use
Apple
Perplexity a
coming
lot.
in with Siri and ChatGPT, I think that's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. Yeah.
When you can't do it yourself, when Apple first came out with Apple Intelligence, I was like, that's just not happening.
Hmm.
Why create the wheel? Mergers and acquisitions need to be very forward and front facing. We have some extremely good coding people out there that are still coding. We've got some great companies like Sam Altman and Chat OpenAI and ChatGPT,
Hmm.
and a lot of things are being built around that. And because of that, why not join forces, be a much stronger, big company? Grok
Yeah.
and XAI stronger, better company because they're merging together. They're building something together and not trying to go it alone. I've said this all along. You want to go bigger, you want to do better, become an ecosystem. That's what
Yeah.
we did at Quasar Markets, to become an ecosystem where we can do
Right.
anything for anybody. You want coding,
Anything
we
for
got
anybody.
that.
Yeah.
You need a company, we got that. You wanna watch the markets, we got that.
Hmm.
You want to be IPO, we got that. So all of those things that in the past, it's not about having one little thing. And Apple learned that. Google learned that. You don't just have Google search, you have Google Maps,
Hmm.
you have Google everything, right? You can Google everything.
Yeah.
But it's the future. Now, what's the
Hmm.
future? And all of those things are going to need quantum computing in order to do the microtransactions around it. So,
Yeah.
what do we need for quantum computing? Qubits, right? QUBTS.
Hmm.
These are great companies, but they're so far in the future that most people can't understand it. If I were to tell you, hey, cars are going to drive themselves, most people 10 years ago, well, I don't understand. How am I going to touch the gas pedal? Well, you're not going to need a gas pedal. It's
Yeah.
how we interact. We're not going to no
Hmm.
longer look at our smartphones like this. We're going to be forward facing. It's how we change socially to be able to
Right.
understand AI. We're going to see a picture of McDonald's and then it's going to give us an ad, but a better ad. It's going to tell you, hey, have a great day. And hey, we have a
Hmm.
Big Mac on sale today. Hey, Nike shoes today. And here's the new shoe. Boom. And hey, guess who's playing today? Basketball. It's about intertwining the real world with ads, real intertwining coding
Hmm.
and quantum computing all together. It will not be as separate as we are now. That's what's
Hmm.
wrong with the world now, is
Yeah.
everything's we're all fighting for space in your head as
Yeah.
opposed to putting it all together.
Right. And I think that the new tech, the tech, like the upcoming tech is all about like we built tech, but what that did was like the life was more convenient, but like the normal human psyche is like people want to stay together. That was blown apart. Now people have this thing, a 6 by 6 inch device in front of them and the other people. So the upcoming tech is all about getting people together without like exerting all the tech benefits of that.
Right.
So
I mean,
and
if you think
the
about it, for like Oculus or Apple Vision Pro, we'll
yeah
have something on our face, right? I'll be able to have an interaction with you, Abhishek,
yeah
talking to you while I see my stock quote, while I see the weather, while I see my
right.
sports score,
Hmm.
all at the same time, and not miss the conversation I had with you, right? I
Yeah.
don't want to do this to this to this to this all day long. I want the
Hmm.
machine to be able to say, "Oh, I know what you're interested in. Your baseball team's coming up, Steve. Do you want to see sports scores?" Yes, boom. But it won't tell me. It'll be in my ear like a beep. It'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
boom,
yeah.
okay. Oh, the scores. Oh, look."
Hmm.
And then but it won't be in a way that it pulls your attention. You'll just see right through it. And
And what
that's
do you
what's
think
cool.
about you thought about Vision Pro and all that. So what do you think about holograms
I
and
can't
AI?
wait. I love it. I think that's part of it. I
Mm,
think if I can't be with my family or my friends and I want to have a conversation, it's now with
mm,
Apple, you use FaceTime or Google, you have your Meet.
yeah.
But now you'll be able to see them in a hologram. I mean, at the Bitcoin conference, we saw that too as well,
Oh,
where you could
okay.
see a person in a hologram.
Hmm.
That case, it was Howie Mandel having a chat and talking to you about their product, and they understand that that hologram was I could talk to it. Then the AI, right, and that can interact with it. We're going to want to interact with that hologram, whether it is AI, whether it is a humanoid, whether it is an actual person or somewhere else. Right now,
Hmm.
we have the ability to communicate anywhere in the world at any point. Look at you and me right now communicating. But
Yeah.
if we want, I could probably see that in 3D in a hologram, and maybe in the future having a holo deck where we have a room in our house where we walk in the room and I'm able to talk to that person as if they're right there. I think
Yeah.
that's cool, and not have to go like this. Hey, how are you, mom? It's
Yeah.
and right there. And if they're not alive anymore, maybe we can talk to them as a companionship, as we talk about the Harvard thing, right? There
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
so many things that you can do with AI and with quantum computing
Yeah.
and with crypto, all of it. And I want to pay for time to be able to talk. I guess I'll be able to buy that with Bitcoin. All of these
Mm.
things have to come together in order to
Come
create this
together.
new.
Yeah. It's like a whole ecosystem, as you said. And also, one thing you mentioned, it was pretty great. You said that we might have a room for like using these like glasses or like the hologram setup. So it reminded me that back in like let's say 1500s or like 1300s, they didn't have bathrooms. They had this whole jungle, and you go, you do your thing, you come back, and now people have bathrooms. So that was not a thing back then. But maybe in like 100 years, 200 years, there will be this new room. So you cannot just buy a three-bedroom.
Yeah,
You
and
have to
you
get
think.
3.5 bedroom, and the half bedroom will be your hologram room. And
You want your
yeah,
hologram room, right? Exactly.
yeah,
No, it's interesting when if you look at, it's a good point, when you're
mm,
especially when you're I'm in Europe or whatever, and I look at homes and the way they were built. They weren't built all the time. The Victorian ones weren't built with electricity. It blew the minds of people when they first saw electricity. There's a good point of that in St. Louis, Missouri. They built a bridge,
mm,
and it was one of the first bridges that span bridge over the Mississippi River, and people did not even want to walk across it. They were scared. It was a bridge.
yeah,
So Ringling Brothers, the circus, had to walk elephants across the bridge for people to feel okay with it.
okay,
They didn't understand it, right? They didn't understand how are we going
mm,
to interact in the future. Well, you're going to have to open up your mind just a little bit, right? It's
right,
not about how you live today, it's how you're going to live in the future. And those people that are more forward are going to do better in the future because they're more accepting of the technology. If you're not accepting the technology and you go, "Oh no, I don't want to do that," well, you're not going to be a part of what's the next level of things. And if you lose your job, it's on you, not on the
yeah,
person building technology. Do we
obviously,
stop because we put plumbing in our house, like you just said? Do we stop because we have running water and electricity?
hmm
No, but there were people that called it the devil's playground. The TV it was crazy what people had to say about that back then. Today,
hmm
I have a TV in every room in my house, right? So we all do, right? So I think that we just need to be more accepting of what's
hmm
happening in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. So I see like many people are doing like not many, I would say like 90% of the new startups are like AI startups, and that's great. So, but people are more focusing on softwares. And
Right.
as you said, you focus a lot on robotics and all that. So I think there are like some industries which are like related to AI, but I think they're like more far ahead of like the whole chat GPT and all this stuff, like holograms, robotics. What kind of industries do you think are like not like properly tapped in right now, but people should focus on and maybe build something like on top of those?
That's a great question, Abhishek. I'll tell you, in the
Hmm.
past, fintech finance has been the one area where it's always been behind. And I think
Hmm.
they're trying to catch up now, which is good. They're still finance, so they're still behind. But there's three areas that I really like. The first one, the big one, is healthcare. I think we'll go to a
Hmm.
hospital and you'll ask, hey, where's my aunt at? And oh, she's in room 333, and it won't be a person, right? It'll be a hologram, right? You won't even talk to a human being. The second one I
Hmm.
think is real estate. I want to see that house for sale. Great. You'll be able to walk through the house right now. We do 3D right now, right? You can
Yeah.
walk through the house, you can see it. But what if I could be in it in that hologram? And I think the third one, and I think it's a big one, is automobiles or how we move around. It
Hmm.
won't just be autos that we have. Maybe we fly to the next place we go to. We have a car that
Yeah.
drives itself and flies itself. But I don't think that the key into that will not be the driverless system. It'll be
Hmm.
how we interact with the vehicle, playing games on the car, watching movies, listening to music, and it won't be four people facing forward. It'll
Yeah.
be four
Yeah.
people facing
Because
each other
that's
because
just
we'll
a
be
waste
playing a
of
game.
time. And like people, if the people are just
Why do I
worried,
need to
like,
watch outside
yeah,
when everything's going
yeah.
on inside? I can watch the news. I can watch my
Hmm.
sports scores. I can watch
Right.
the stock quotes, and I can play a
Hmm.
game and watch a movie all at the same time.
Right.
That's what's really cool is that if you think about it, when I was growing up, there were three TV channels. Today, we can't even imagine three TV channels. I mean, we have billions
Yeah.
of movie streaming and YouTubes and
Hmm.
TikTok, and we can all handle it at the same time. We are now accustomed to that where we weren't in the past.
Yeah, right, right. And the second thing you just said that in real estate, the VR thing. So actually, we are doing that right now. So we are building like some of that because in India, I don't know in US, but in India, like many people, they just want to get their own house built themselves. So they want to build their private house. They want to get into an apartment or something. I mean, it's changing now from like you can say past COVID. So, but the majority of the audience is like they want to get their private home built. But the biggest skeptical point is how is this design, which we have designed in a 2D, will look when I move into that house. And people like normal people, they don't understand dimensions. If I tell you your room is going to be 12 by 15, you don't know what this 12 by 15 means. So when I show you that, so you'll be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, because when you think about it, now you got to pull a ruler out. You got to go, okay, how far is
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
But in a hologram, you'll be able to walk through the room in your own house and say, oh, this is cool. I like this
Hmm.
room. Okay. And you know what? I want the paint on my wall to be red. Oh, okay. Boom, the wall's red now. You know what? I don't
Hmm.
like that color. I want salmon. And it's not like putting swatches up on the old ways or putting a little bit of paint on it. You'll be able to see it in
Hmm.
real time. And maybe don't even need paint in the future. Maybe the machine just splatters it onto the wall, or we
Hmm.
have cameras and things that push it onto the wall, and you can change the color. We already have it where you can change colors in your office
Hmm.
already, right? Alexa, change the color of my office to blue, and all of a sudden the lights turn blue in my office, right? Alexa,
Yeah.
turn my lights in my office blue, and boom, the colors turn on you, right? So I
Hmm.
like that, and I think that's a big
Hmm.
change.
Yeah, I mean, you said Alexa, and I talk about this with my friends. I've seen like it online somewhere. You tell me about that. What's your opinion on that? And that is that Alexa and all these devices are listening to you, and you shouldn't keep them in your house. What do you think about that?
All right, let's be real honest here. Everything you do, everything you
Is out
say
there.
is already
Yeah,
out
yeah.
there. That's
Mm.
silly talk. That's people and it's probably somebody who probably has something to hide. So if you have something to hide, the future is not going to be very good to you. If you're a bad person,
Hmm.
you have a bad heart, you have a bad whatever, it's not going to be very forgiving in the future. All right.
Right.
If you tell lies, it's not going to be very forgiving in the future. So I think
Hmm.
there's going to be a profound effect on people, humanity. Of this is what you're seeing now socially. They're not getting out there. If people are
Hmm.
being disconnected, maybe there's something wrong with that person. And if there
Hmm.
is, great, because then Alexa or whoever will know and maybe say, you know what, you have an issue. Let's fix this problem,
Yeah,
right?
call 911.
psychology. Well,
Yeah.
psychology will be a thing in the future that maybe your psychologist will no longer be needed.
Mm.
Maybe the psychologist is your machine.
Right.
And you'll
Right.
probably get a better answer. I'm hearing this all the time. People are using their social
Mm.
media because what's happening is you're getting best practices. So if you're a bad psychologist, you're probably not got a good practice. You're probably not going to be used in the future. And you're definitely not going to be used by these social media. In your case, you said Alexa, but I think in the future it'll be a machine that you talk to like an AI and it'll say, "Oh, well, what's your problem today?" Okay. And you also
Right.
see it in healthcare, right? Where healthcare is saying the same thing, right? If you're going to the doctor, oh, you know what? Yes, the
Hmm.
doctor's doing running a battery of tests on you,
Hmm.
but they missed these 25 things that are actually wrong with you. And you know what? The real main problem is this thing, and we can
Is
fix
this
it.
thing? Yeah. Right. So, this is the last question. So,
Sure.
by the way, just to give you a context, what I'm doing right now is m- majority of the people are doing like big podcasts, right now. If you see the
Good. Of
trend is like 2 hour
course.
plus podcasts. So, I can obviously do that, but what I'm doing as of now is like 30 minutes podcast. So, you come, you get the information, and you go. So, people have less time, they have more to build, they have more to work
The
towards.
attention span of a rabbit. I mean, listen, it's
Yeah.
10 seconds or
Right.
less. If you can't grab their attention for the very
Hmm.
second, they're not going to
Yeah.
listen to the rest of the conversation. But what's cool is that the AI can go TLDR, right? Too long, didn't read it. Great. AI will summarize what was being said
Right. Right.
quickly
Right.
and easy. And if you want to see more of it, boom, you'll click on the
Hmm.
button. And listen, if you're out there, you're listening to Abhishek, this is great stuff, what he's telling you, right? He's finding good
Hmm.
people, quality, and I like this, Abhishek. Good job, man. I love this
Thank you. Thanks.
podcast.
So, the last question is, are you a reader? And if you are, please give me like 3 books on AI.
Okay, so I am a avid reader, and
Hmm.
I don't read anything on AI when it comes to books. I think
Okay.
it's a waste of my time. I'll
Hmm.
tell you because right now the speed of AI is so
Hmm.
fast. If you read a book that took them 3 months to write,
Hmm.
then by the time you get to the next 3 months to just get it in your hands, the printing and all that, and the binding and getting into your
Hmm.
hands and buying it on Amazon and getting it in your it's gone, right? So
Yeah.
I tell people don't read books on Amazon or don't read books on AI.
Yeah.
Um, read anything that's going on in the world on the internet, right? It's faster.
Hmm.
It's what's being more. I have a lot of things that I do listen to, newsletters that I do. TLDR is one of them that I like. A newsletter I
Hmm.
like. Quasar Markets has an AI newsletter now that gives you the news almost
Yeah, I saw
immediately.
that. I saw that.
You can
Yeah.
sign up on
Yeah.
quasarmarkets.com and you can boom, 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 and hit subscribe. And
Hmm.
our list is growing exponentially because we don't,
That
it's
is
no it's
great.
no BS in it. There's no fluff in it. It's just the news,
Hmm.
right? Here's what's going on. And I also tell people the same thing when you're looking at the prop tech or fintech or all these tech devs that are going on. Look for companies that are already doing it. Microsoft with Azure
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Google and Salesforce. Those companies that are, and people ask me, well, what's the best AIs to invest in, companies to invest in? And those are the companies that already have data. So
Yeah.
think of it, if they have data on you like Amazon, they already know everything you buy, right? Google already knows everything you search for. Amazon, you continue to go on through all this, you will have a good idea of what companies are looking to build. And I really like the future. It's very exciting right now.
Okay, and the last. So this is like a personal question for me, and that is, so we're actually raising funds as of now. How do you think we should go about that?
Raising funds. Yep.
Yeah.
First thing you do is pick the phone up, call your friends and family, right? They are
Okay.
the first ones to believe in you. And if you don't believe in
Oh,
yourself, no one else is
actually,
going to
we
believe
do
in
that. Actually, we have that. So we actually have a friends and family round, and that's already been done. But we are heading towards, like, there was like a pre-seed. There was
you. Yeah.
like 500K. So, but now we are moving forward. We're raising $1 million. And how do you think we should go about that? Do you have some names? Maybe you could give me people who are interested in prop
Well,
tech.
as you know, as a fiduciary, I'm not allowed to talk about names of people
Yeah.
and their
Right.
finances. But I will
Right.
tell you that the next stage of any pre-seed or
Hmm.
outside of those friends and family around, right, and what accredited investors. I always tell people the same thing. Stay away from VCs. If you have a heart and a soul,
Hmm.
that you won't have one after you mess with a VC, right? They'll take everything from you. go to private equity. Go talk to private equity. Private equity is the direction to go because they're not only going to be your financial friend, but also your partner. They want to see you succeed. So
Yeah,
look for family
strategic partners.
funds.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Strategic
I
partnerships
actually want
are the
to
key.
recommend you one book if you like want to
Sure.
read anytime. So I got this just because of the name on it. It says Benny the Blue Whale, Descent into a Story, Language, and the Madness of ChatGPT. So
I
what this
love
is
it.
about, what you just talked about, that the amount of time it takes people to write a book. So this is a writer, and Andy Stanton, and when he discovered that there's this new thing called ChatGPT, he tried to write a full book with ChatGPT using prompts and his like creative knowledge. So this is this full conversation of him with ChatGPT.
Well,
So
I
kind of cool
just went on
book.
Amazon right now and I just bought the book. So I
That
love
is
it.
great. That is great.
There it is. I bought the book. So there you go. See that's this is what I mean, Abhishek. It's not going down the road and seeing a
Yeah.
Nike ad. It's you telling me, hey, I read this book. I
Hmm.
like this book. Here's why I like this book. That took you 10 seconds. And I
Yeah.
went and bought the book in less than two. Because I went to Amazon, clicked the button, buy this, down it's
Yeah.
down on my Kindles. Right? That's what I'm saying is the future.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to have to go to a bookstore, not that we're going to have to watch an ad for Benny and the Blue Whale, which I think this
Right.
guy's probably happy now. Andy's probably happy that we're talking about it. But
Yeah.
that the next level of this is how fast we got that by word of mouth, by
Yeah.
companionship, by friendship, by doing a podcast. Boom.
Yeah.
This is the future.
This is great value of exchange. And yeah, like whenever you come on, it's always like energetic. So I would say that and end on that. And it was great speaking with you. And I'll put it out soon. And hopefully we'll pick up another topic within like 3, 4, 5 months, and we'll talk again.
Let's do it. I love this stuff. Well done,
Yeah.
Abhishek.
Yeah. Bye. Have a nice day. Bye.